What is up, everybody? Welcome to an all-new episode of Georgio Says the Podcast. It is Wednesday, January 7th. I hope you all are doing fantastic so far this week. This is our first full week of having all the Bravo shows back on regular schedule. Thank God. We are obviously here because we are going to recap Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It was the finale, and yes, it was a Greek tragedy.
We need to talk about this.
All right, my friends. I hope everyone is swell. I hope everyone is still recovering from this Greek tragedy of a finale, if I can say so myself. But before we jump into the recap, I want to address a couple things. So in this situation we're in with the podcast, I have had some issues getting my episodes uploaded for whatever reason. On the back end, it's saying that it uploads, but it's not showing up. So I have been challenged with that, but I've been working with the people over at Acast. And so I believe all those episodes will be uploaded today. So I am very, very sorry. I know I missed you guys on Monday and Tuesday, but it should all be worked out now, and hopefully you guys will be able to go back and listen to my Real Housewives of Potomac recap, and hopefully this one will push out as well. Technical difficulties, it happens from time to time. It's no one's fault. It is what it is. Aside from that, I wanted to also let you guys know that I am right now finishing up a deep dive podcast episode, and it's going to center around Amanda Francis on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. A lot of you guys have come to me and asked, hey, what do you think about her business? What do you think about the Money Queen and all her courses? So I did a really big deep dive into the world of courses, more specifically the types of courses in the niche that Amanda is in, which is basically spiritual alignment and a little bit of psychology. But I will put that out immediately when I finish it. I will also offer a short version of that deep dive on my TikTok and my Instagram. So don't worry, I will give you all the bullet points there, but you obviously should go and take a listen to the deep dive when it hits the podcast feed, because it is actually a lot deeper and a lot more introspective than what I imagined it to be. And wow, listen, for everyone out there, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've said this before. Please, please, please do not spend your hard-earned money on someone else's course. I understand it's a business model, and I'm not saying everyone who has a course is a sham. That is not what I'm saying. But more likely than not, okay, when you are on social media, and I see this a lot, specifically on TikTok, where there's someone out there who is promising you this lifestyle and this big monthly paycheck, and all you have to do is buy their course, and you too can live a lap of luxury. And that's just bullshit. I'm sorry. I am going to say it. It's bullshit. 9 times out of 10, they are selling you a course. That is their business. It's not whatever they're teaching, right? There are certain people that I do believe use their degrees, their experience, because they have something to show for it in terms of, I built this business, or I was able to turn this small amount of money into this kind of money, and I can show you my tactics. There are a very select few that I would say, yes, that is, applicable. You can take the course, you can apply some of that. And yes, at the end of the day, everyone can take every course, but if you don't apply any action to anything, nothing is going to work. But that is why the deep dive was eye-opening, because it feels, dare I say, a bit predatory. Okay, so I'll stop there. But yes, please, please check it out when it is out. I'm hopefully putting it out later today or tomorrow. But I just wanted to put that on your guys' radar. Um, okay, let's just go ahead and jump into this Salt Lake City recap. It was the finale. We do have the reunion trailer that came out. Seems very, very chaotic. We saw Andy actually get up and walk off the stage, which I don't think I've ever seen him do that. I've seen him flip out for sure, but I've never seen him get up and leave. What I thought was funny was Mary was like, Andy, no! Andy, no, don't go! Don't go! Where are you going? And it's like, yeah, God only knows how the reunions are, specifically with Salt Lake City, because you have Angie, and listen, Angie's Greek, and if you know anything by now about Greek people, we are loud, we are passionate, we really can go from 0 to 10. It doesn't take us a lot. We also are our worst enemies when it comes to self-inflicted injuries. I cannot even tell you how many times I have injured myself. Okay, so I'm going to up my life insurance policy. I will say when we were in Greece, something about being Greek in Greece must do something, because I injured myself there. I got a really bad sunburn, which I never get sunburned, but it was like right on my thigh. And so like I couldn't walk. I had to like put like 17 pounds of aloe on to make it through the first couple days of the sunburn. So I totally empathize with Angie getting hurt as many times as she has on this trip. But the finale was very interesting. So we obviously know Salt Lake City is known for their very, dare I say, cinematic finales. We can go back as many seasons as we need to at this point. This one felt, yes, it was cinematic. Yes, it was giving finale vibes, but it threw me for a loop there towards the end. And we're going to get into that, but I want to lead us up to this play, because it seems that when it comes to Meredith, at least, Meredith, in my opinion, has decided she's going to sit this season out. She doesn't want to really engage in anything, really. She's just kind of a placeholder. And I think as the season went on, the other women, I think, specifically, if I'm going to be honest, Heather and Whitney, I think they really had it out for her. Number one, Meredith absolutely did not share much about anything this season at all. Like, we didn't see anything about anything going on in her life. Not with Seth, not with her businesses, nothing. She literally was just a seat placement wherever the cast was. So I do empathize with the other cast members that are like, look, we all have to show up and play ball. Meanwhile, you get to have mood swings, not speak to people, act like you don't even want to be here, because yes, there's many of episodes where it's clear Meredith would rather be somewhere else other than with this group filming this show. But here's where I have an issue with that. And this happens, we've seen this on other franchises, at a certain point, someone feels like they've done enough, or they've given enough of themselves, they've been through the ringer, however they want to put it, and they feel like, hey, I can take a step back, let everyone else do the work. But Meredith's never really been the one to kind of go there anyway. She's always either been a part of something or she's been the victim of something, i.e. the Lisa Barlow hot mic situation and the Jen Shaw of it all. But outside of that, she doesn't really bring anything to the forefront. We also have to remember Meredith is using the law part of her brain. So when she does, respond to things, she does it in a way that it is very legalese, as Bronwyn put it. It's very specific wording, and she's very careful as to not say things that could be used against her, blah, blah, blah. Now, something happened the night before where Bronwyn is saying, Meredith reached out to her, asked her to come up to her room, and then proceeded to ask her what was discussed at that lunch with Whitney, Bronwyn, and Mary. Okay? Now, this is where, at first glance, you're looking at it and you're like, okay, Bronwyn absolutely seems like she went to the room. We see some sort of camera footage of Bronwyn walking around like she's heading somewhere. So I'm assuming that's her going to Meredith's room. We also find out that Bronwyn, specifically said that Meredith wanted this conversation off camera. So it seems that Bronwyn respected it, but this is where Bronwyn is playing the game. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying let's call it what it is. She went into that room, and I guarantee you she used it as a moment to try to make Meredith feel like they were, able to trust each other and speak about whatever it was. And I feel that Bronwyn used that moment to then turn it around on Meredith the next day, which she absolutely did, right? Because if you were filming with someone, like if I was filming and I asked, I don't know, I'm just throwing a name out there, but let's say, I asked Zach Peter, who's on the same show, and I texted him when cameras went down, and I said, hey, can you come up to my room? I want to talk to you, okay? Off camera. That would signal that I don't want this to be a part of the show. I'm just trying to have like a side street banter with you real quick to just kind of be aligned on what maybe could be coming my way, right? Because you are, Bronwyn, are acting as if you want to be my friend and you want me to feel comfortable around you, so here it is. Here's where I think it went wrong. I think if Bronwyn clearly didn't tell Meredith what was spoken about at that lunch, then this to me comes off a bit dirty. It almost feels like you took advantage of a situation, and rather than you being the friend that you claim to be to Meredith or that you're trying to be to Meredith, you could have in that moment said, hey, Meredith, the girls and I discussed a multitude of things, but mainly it was our concern for you. And also, Meredith, I told the women that when I was in New York with Todd, we ran into Seth and he was with another woman. Now, that would have probably gone a long way because A, you're giving Meredith the heads up. It's not to say you still can't bring it up on camera because this is a job and we should be discussing things in real time as much as possible. So I don't necessarily agree with if Meredith thought that should have strictly stayed off camera when Bronwyn has already brought it up on camera. Now, Meredith didn't know that at the time, clearly, because I think if she did know what the ladies were talking about, she wouldn't have been in such a great mood the next morning. She probably would have been pissed off, and she would have had it out for everyone. Or she would have pulled back and not gone and done any of the things that needed to be done. And perhaps maybe Bronwyn was advised by production to hold off and then wait until the next day to bring it up. But nonetheless, we see the next day, Bronwyn goes and has a conversation with Meredith and tries to tell her, like, last night you came to me and you asked me about the lunch, and immediately Meredith shuts it down and says, that's not what happened. So already it's not working in Bronwyn's favor. Whatever she is trying to do, it's not working. And I really do feel after a while, you've got to stop circling the drain and just move on. She's not going to tell you what you want to hear, or even better, she's not going to give you the reaction that you're hoping for. And I really truly feel like they were trying to break Meredith down because I feel like a lot of the women feel like she doesn't pull her weight. They probably feel like she's just breezing in and out. And then when she is confronted, she completely deflects, i.e. the plane situation with Britney. Okay? Nonetheless, this is all going like left because now Bronwyn's getting really heated because she's feeling like, wait a second here, you're trying to gaslight me and make me feel like I'm just making this shit up out of thin air, which I don't think Bronwyn was. I do believe Meredith wanted to know what was discussed at the lunch. This all seems to be playing into whatever's going to happen in this play that they're all going to watch later. But I think on camera, Meredith is very careful to not show cracks where there might be some because she also knows what the show will do with that. They will run with it. They will create all these different angles. So on that side of it, I get it. But on the other side, if you're that paranoid about crack showing or whatever the case is, then maybe you need to leave the show. Because frankly, I'm really getting tired of certain cast members thinking because they've been here a while, they don't have to pull their weight, or they don't have to share shit, or they don't have to be vulnerable. Like, no, you're being paid a pretty penny to be on a show, to have a platform, to then help boost your businesses and your likeness and your image, but you want to keep that image tight and right by all means necessary. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to the rest of the group to do that. So this backfired. But the ladies now are going to meet Angie's cousin, who took a ferry in to meet up with them. This was a lovely lunch. I love this vibe very much. We need to do more cast trips in Greece. It's such a great destination point, such a great backdrop. And dare I say, it adds an extra element of drama, because, come on, what Greek have you met that is not dramatic? I'll wait. Anyhow, so they go and they have lunch with Angie's cousin. The cousin is kind of enlightening Angie a little bit about her mom. She's starting to open up more about what she remembers about her mom's kind of upbringing, and realizes that, you know, her mom went through something very traumatic as a child. There was a war, there was a lot of things happening, people were being killed. And so that trauma, obviously, or what we can guess, is part of the reason why maybe Angie's mom ended up being an alcoholic. And, you know, so that I liked. I liked that Angie was able to get back into her roots a little bit. It was clearly very good for her, and I think it made her feel more secure in her Greekhood, if you will. Because as we know, a lot of people have speculated, is she just, you know, is Angie running with the Greek thing and she's really maybe not this Greek? But I don't believe that, because I think she really is. I think she's just gotten more excited about the heritage as it's been embraced. I will say for myself, there isn't a lot of representation in media, specifically reality TV, when it comes to Greek people. So speaking personally, I was excited to have someone be able to showcase that in an elevated way. And so I absolutely loved this scene. And I loved that everyone, for the most part, was getting along. There was no real drama. What I will say, though, is I noticed Meredith did not want to be there. And this is what I'm saying. Like, she shows up to things, but it's very clear she would rather not be there at all. We didn't see her engage. We didn't see her try to, like, do anything. She's literally in her head, because you can tell she's thinking about the clock. Okay, we just gotta, this is, you know, the last bit of filming. Let's just get through this. Let me just keep myself, you know, straight and narrow, not crack, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so the ladies leave lunch, they get on the Sprinter, they're heading back to their villas, and, you know, Bronwyn is sharing with Heather what happened the night before. She went to go see Meredith in her room. Meredith asked her, you know, what happened at the lunch. She really wanted to know what happened at the lunch. She was trying to pull information from her, but yet Meredith then gaslit her the next day to pretend like none of that happened. And all it really was, from Meredith's point, was that Bronwyn was the one that was paranoid about what was going to come up in the play. And that's why she brought up the lunch. Like, was there something that maybe happened at lunch that you're afraid of coming out, or whatever the case is? Now, do I think Meredith was also being strategic by maybe saying it that way? Yes. I also think Bronwyn is a lot smarter than people think she is. And I think she also can play a very manipulative game. So I think you have two people here that, yeah, this is grounds for a disaster, and a disaster it became. Okay? So now the ladies are back at the villa. They're getting ready to go see the play about them. And guys, all I could think about when this whole thing was coming to be was, like, all the women are sitting there and they all sit there and, you know, the euphoria phrase, wait, is this fucking play about us? Yes, this play is fucking about you. But I thought the Greek tragedy play was great. I thought for a moment it seemed like this was meant to kind of give everyone a clearing road to kind of show some vulnerability or take ownership of certain characteristics that they may have displayed throughout the season. But as that started to go, it felt like one person there was itching to basically call bullshit on everybody. Because I think if I'm being honest, I think Mary, although she understood the concept of what the tragedy was, that's not really what everyone's MO was for that finale. Okay. And that's why I think when, Bronwyn, started off by saying there was a lot of things that I heard about myself that had me in tears because, she feels like, maybe because she's not loyal to people, she's not given loyalty. And that's because she's never been shown what loyalty actually looks like. So she doesn't feel like she even gives it. So something for her to self-reflect on, which is totally great. I thought it was very introspective of her. I thought it was very self-aware, right? Like you can look at something and say, wow, if this is everyone's perception, then I need to take a look at myself, right? Because the saying is true. Perception is reality. You may not think that you're being a certain way, but if 6 other people have experienced the same thing, in my opinion, there's something you need to look at. It's not just everyone making it up, right? Nothing's just happening in the zeitgeist. But that quickly starts to turn, and you start to notice that, Heather is sloshed. Can we talk about that for a second? She is so, you can tell she's like hammered. And she keeps drinking. And so this is grounds for a disaster. But she basically waits for Meredith to open up about why she is, the way that she is. She's very sensitive. She was taught to use her words very carefully. Basically, don't act, emotionally. Be very much top line, stick to the facts, that bit. But before that, I was actually very proud of Lisa Barlow. Shout out to Lisa Barlow. I know a lot of you guys do not care for her, but she ate on this episode. I'm sorry. She absolutely ate. She not only took ownership of the fact that she does in fact hide behind her material things, and then took it a step further to explain context as to why. And listen, I've said this before, and I'm very much a similar person. I have dialed it down, right? But I understand when you're part of a big family and when you feel like you are never really looked at in a real way, you have to go and do all these things to try to prove to everyone else that, hey, I'm doing something over here. And I feel like that's very much Lisa's experience in life. And I think she is hard on herself. And in turn, being hard on yourself, you're absolutely going to be hard on others because you're not even giving yourself grace. And I've been a victim of that. And I've had to learn steps on how to not be so hard on myself. So I applaud her for being honest and vulnerable about it. But after Meredith shares her vulnerability, then it becomes Heather attacking her. And I'm sorry, it was. She went right in for it. And now it's like, let's bring up this lunch question that you asked Bronwyn, and now we're back at square one. And listen, again, I don't know why it matters so much. Maybe it's because they were going to drop this on her unexpectedly. I'm not really sure. But the way in which Heather was reacting to Meredith, if I were Meredith and if I were Lisa, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't fucking be Heather's friend. And I know a lot of you guys love Heather. And I saw a lot of the comments in my short recap. Leave Heather alone. Heather this, Heather that. No, fuck that. Heather, you wouldn't be able to, you're dishing it, but would you be able to handle it if the shoe was on the other foot? So let's wait till next season, because as we know, the tables do turn. They absolutely do. So when they turn on Heather, and I hope they do, and I don't mean this in a vindictive way, it's just what's fair in my book. You constantly are fishing to go after things and people, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Lisa and Meredith gave everyone their paychecks this season. Bronwyn shared a little bit about her marriage, but we know that she was keeping things under wraps as best as she could. That marriage has been over. This was just a ploy for her to have an out. She's on the show now. She's got to make the show work, so she's going to do whatever it takes. But this is where it started to get very, very dangerous, in my opinion, because I wouldn't trust Bronwyn after this finale. The way she set up the whole I am concerned about you bit with Meredith, and then alluding to like, well, when I shut down and when I'm defensive and put a wall up, it's because maybe there's been something going on in my marriage and I'm just defensive about it. So I try to put up a wall. And, it's helped that I've been able to, share that and get support from people because I think that's very important. All those things are true, by the way. I'm not saying what she said wasn't true. It is. If you are going through something, you should be able to lean on a friend. You should be able to say, hey, this is what's going on in my life. I can't hold on to this by myself anymore. I need support, whatever that looks like. That's all fine and dandy. But the setup of that conversation was to basically then turn around and say, well, Meredith, but I did see Seth in New York when I was with Todd and he was with another woman. Now, she doesn't allude to the fact that they were on a date or that there was something weird going on. She just says that. So, of course, what is one to think when someone says that? Okay, you saw him with a woman, and what are you getting at? But instead of doing that, Meredith, she shuts off. And you can tell Meredith is someone who walks away a lot because you can always tell by the group's reaction when someone's walking away that they've done it one too many times because everyone's like, please stop walking away. We're going to have to sit here and keep filming until we get the scene, right? So there's chaos and Meredith is spinning. So she leaves. She has to go to the bathroom. She has to come up with some sort of plan to not let the cameras and editors and the cast spin this whole thing into something that she feels it's not. But while Meredith is in the bathroom, another cast member who I think was probably the most real and authentic I want to say is, not was, she is probably the most authentic, is Mary. Mary called the bullshit out. Those women all knew what Mary was alluding to. They're just not going to bring it up. But you could see it in their faces when she said, this is bullshit. You guys need to tell her that we're worried about her. But instead, you guys are dancing around saying it's about what happened at lunch and what she asked about in this. No, the real crux of it is something is off with Meredith. And Mary, of all people, I'm sorry, a lot of you think that Mary's projecting. I don't think Mary is a projector. She doesn't come off that way. She's seen patterns in her own home. So yes, perhaps some of it is misplaced, but I would say overall, if someone is seeing a pattern like that play out with their own child, what's to say that they can't spot it in a friend? Okay. But Mary called Heather to the carpet because Heather's trying to play well, I care about. Well, then if you care about her, then tell her that too. Tell her that you're concerned about her, but instead of kicking her, about this dumb shit. She goes on to say, we are grown women. We are overgrown women. I don't know who that dig was for, but she was like, we're overgrown women. We are mothers. We are wives. Basically, get it the fuck together. Be honest. So Meredith comes back from the bathroom and she's just like, what's the goal here? And fair question, Meredith. What is the goal here? What are you getting at? Right? So then Mary she says it. We are concerned. And she goes in and she's being 1000% with Meredith. She's not sugarcoating it. She's like, nope, you are absolutely spiraling. You are paranoid and you are feeding into this behavior. I'm worried about you. We saw Mary say that to her at the lunch after the plane incident, where it was clear Mary was like, oh my gosh, this is scary. She's really going to sit here and play like none of that happened. So, of course, Mary jumps in and she's trying to, talk to Meredith like a friend. And I believe Mary is coming at it from a friendship. She wasn't trying to take Meredith down. But also, we got to stop softening the blow for certain cast members because we like them. Everyone gets a turn at bat. And yes, that goes for Lisa too. I have called out behaviors that I don't align with as she has done. Okay, but everyone should be able to be called out on their behavior. So if everyone's going to pick their faves and say that nothing they do is ever wrong, then that's on you. And I dare to understand what your relationships look like. But I am of the side of the coin that if you see something, you say something, especially if it's your friend. Because if you're not, then why are you their friend? So this went down the tubes. Meredith's not giving any of these ladies anything to grab onto. But when Mary is spilling the beans like this, you can see everyone's reaction. And it's like, oh my God, she really went there. Oh my God, she really said it. Now, where it starts to get fuzzy, Bronwyn, is this alluding to seeing Seth with a woman. Well, what's that about? And if you were really Meredith's friend, why is she just now hearing this from you in front of the group? Why didn't you tell her already? I would have told my friend. I still would have brought it up on camera, but at least you know I told you. And yeah, if Meredith wanted to be mad about it, that's on Meredith. You're on a reality show, babe. But I would at least give my friend the decency of knowing off camera, not in front of everybody, so that they could collect their thoughts around it. But Bronwyn's not doing that. Bronwyn's only looking out for Bronwyn. And that's fine. That's fine. But don't play in everyone's face and act like you are someone's friend. So, do I think Meredith deserved first seat at the reunion? No, I don't. She didn't deliver anything. She was the storyline, but she didn't actually involve herself in her own storyline, if that makes sense. Like, she should have been upfront and honest. She's very much always going to cover any crack and not let it show because she's seen what the show can do with that. But that goes back to my point. Then don't be on the show. I'm not saying it wouldn't be nerve-wracking for me. I'm not saying I wouldn't be paranoid a little bit. Hey, you never know what's going to come out of someone's mouth, right? But you got to weigh it out. You're on this platform. You've garnered a lot. So, yeah, when you aren't sharing as much, yeah, some of your other cast members are absolutely going to make you the storyline. Somehow, some way. And they did. But when things started to go awry and Meredith was like, I'm basically getting an Uber and getting the fuck out of here. This is where it sets in for Lisa. Oh my God. What the fuck are you doing, Bronwyn? What are you alluding to? Like, this is where I'm like applauding Lisa because she's like, you know, I'm going to go. No, this is fucked. You guys are playing a dirty game. This is why no one wants to share shit, because you weaponize it against them. So what if she would have said, we do have issues in our marriage? What if Meredith would have confided in Bronwyn? Would Bronwyn not have gone and used that somehow on the show? Of course she would have. All of them, for the most part, would have, except for Lisa. Everyone has basically gone through something on this show. But I think with Meredith, it's like her pain point is at its all-time high. She doesn't have much more to give, and it's because she's not going to do it. Like, she's made up her mind, at least for this past season, she was not going to give anything to these women. So it was a very odd way to end the finale. It was, and now I'm going back to what Whitney said. She's like, something that's never happened on a finale has happened on ours. Now I'm kind of seeing what that is. Like, yes, this is very different in terms of a finale, because it basically was Lisa and Meredith walking away from this group. And then Heather, again, sloshed, just out of her fucking mind. Just being like, oh, we can hear you, just fucking go. No, bitch, I don't have to fucking go. You fucking go. Like, you don't tell me what the fuck I can do. You're not the leader of this fucking group. This is the problem. Heather has been gassed up too much. And I partially blame some of the audience, frankly. And judging by some of the comments, it's like, well, no wonder this woman's head is gassed up the way it is. You guys applaud this type of behavior. But don't worry, eventually, Heather, people will get sick of you too. And then they will turn on you. And that group will do the same thing to you. And let's see how you handle it. Let's just see. Because more likely than not, the people that dish it out are the ones that can't fucking take it. That gets my blood boiling more than ever. So I hope that Heather has a squeaky clean everything, because trust and believe everyone gets a turn at bat, especially on the Housewives. So we'll see what happens at the reunion, but it doesn't seem like Heather and Meredith are going to be moving forward in any type of friendship, at least not right now, based on that trailer. And I think everyone smells what Heather's giving. It's giving, I'm going to take down the... To me, it feels like they wanted Meredith and Lisa out. They were doing everything in their power to try to push those two out so that some new queens can take over this group. And I think it's just so fucking childish. It really is. Because do you really think that you, Heather, or anyone else that thinks they're going to be able to take a stab at this is going to be able to lead the group? Or that someone's not going to come for your place? Like, hello, have we watched Showgirls? The line at the very end, there's always someone younger and hungrier coming down the stairs after you. That is a true fucking statement. Okay? There's always someone younger and hungrier coming down the stairs ready to push you out of the way. So, for everyone who's looking to be the lead, which I don't view Meredith and Lisa as the leads of the cast, they're prominent figures within the group. Yes, Lisa being the most prominent because she's the reason the show exists. So, yeah, she can walk away with Meredith and not be worried about the group. Because in my mind, the rest of you guys are replaceable. Hi, Whitney. What did you give us this season? You got to have a conversation with your husband about how he led you into an MLM that tore up your whole house financially and spiritually and emotionally. And what else? What else? Like, it's getting old. And the fact that Whitney's been able to hold on to her place on the show as a full-timer is beyond me, by the way. I have no Scooby-Doo clue what that's about. But, like, we've got to move and shift out of this now. And I hope if we're going to go into season 7 and keep the same cast, then I feel Britney needs to be elevated to full-time and Meredith should be demoted. Sorry. I love Meredith, but Meredith, you're not pulling your weight. And this finale, you should have gone after Heather. You should have gone after this is the time to not mince your words. You're not in a court of law. You're on a fucking reality show. Cuss those bitches out. Because Lisa would have cussed y'all out thoroughly. But it ended with Lisa and Meredith leaving. So we don't really know, right? Like how the rest of that played out. But I guess we'll have to wait for the reunion. I am concerned that there is something really going on with Meredith, but Meredith is, like I said, she's very good with her words. Do I think she's an alcoholic? No, I don't think she's an alcoholic. Do I think she has prescribed medicine for different feelings that she may or may not want to have? Yes, and I think she may have a glass of something and that kind of stimulates the reaction of that medicine more. I'm not here to judge, but your castmates are looking to judge. They're trying to throw these words out. Whitney, again, bringing up pill popping and alcoholic again. When all she had to say was, Meredith, I want to be straight with you. I know I said those 2 words that I shouldn't have said, but that was based on my experience. So again, you're projecting something that happened to you in your childhood around your dad with what's going on with Meredith. Like I'm supposed to believe you are that tuned into Meredith? I don't buy it. It's all self-serving. It's all giving me. How can I have a moment here? And that's why I'm glad Mary called it out. It's like, what are we fucking doing here? Why are we here? Very good question. Why are we here? If you guys don't want to actually be friends and try to be friends and get to know each other and have some safe spaces for some of these ladies, then why would anyone trust any of you? I surely wouldn't. No wonder Lisa doesn't want to share anything with this group and why she gets defensive. Listen, I'm not big on being defensive, but sometimes it gets, miscategorized. It's not just defensive for no reason. There's a reason. 9 times out of 10 is because this group weaponizes things against you when you do tell them stuff. They'll twist it or they'll, frame it in a different way because they know the cameras are on, so they want to create some sort of drama. So yeah, there needs to be a come to Jesus moment. So if we are going to move forward with the same cast, that's fine. But I'm going to say we need to demote Meredith. I don't think she plays a pivotal role in this group right now. And judging off this last season, it doesn't seem like she even wants to. So give it to the one that actually wants to show up and be the butt of the jokes and let her try to figure out this group. Because to me, Britney was in every scene. She was on all the trips. So she pretty much was full time. So just give her snowflake, demote Meredith, and let's move the fuck on. But, Heather, watch your back next season. Watch your back. That's all I will say, because I'm pretty sure all eyes are on you. We'll see how the reunion goes, of course, because, everything can change at the reunion. I don't know if we will actually get any plane footage. I'm going to say we are not. I do believe there is footage or audio, but I do not believe in my heart of hearts that they're going to show it. I think they don't want the liability of Meredith looking maybe not great, or Meredith may have put out something to the production people to be like, you better not fucking share that or else. I don't know. But I don't think that's going to be the case. So, I don't know, you guys. What a wild season this was. I thought it was great. It's not one of the best seasons of Salt Lake City, but hey, not every season's gonna be like stellar. It still was very cinematic. It was still very engaging. These are the hardest working housewives in the game. And other franchises need to start taking notes. Potomac, Giselle, Ashley. At any rate, that's all I gotta say about that recap, guys. It is definitely going to be a crazy reunion. I can already feel it. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see what transpires for the, next season forward. Hopefully all the ladies do come back. I'm not saying I want any of them off completely. I'm not even saying I want Meredith gone. I just said she needs to be demoted. And we need to promote Britney, because I feel like Britney has put in her weight with the ladies and she's done the work and she's showing up. So I think she's earned it. So I think she deserves her snowflake. But I also want to know what you guys think. Tell me all of your thoughts, specifically around this Greek tragedy play and everything that transpired. Because I already told you guys how I feel, but I always love reading what everyone else's take is on it. And if you're going to come in and defend Heather and just blindly just be like, oh, Meredith this, Meredith that. Yeah. I can call out everyone here. But let's not excuse Heather's behavior. I'm also starting to think that one Instagram story that Monica was alluding to someone on the cast having to go to the hospital for alcohol poisoning, but then basically wanted the footage stripped out. I absolutely am believing that is Heather. Yeah, I think it is. Because after watching her on the finale, she was a sloshed mess. And dare I say, it was very trashy. Very trashy. But, all right, now I'm done. Let me know your thoughts down below. And just a reminder, Sundays going forward, starting this Sunday, an all-new episode of Georgio Says Anonymous Please will premiere, and it will be a Sunday episode that's released every week. But basically, all of you guys have reached out to me and, asked me for my take on your personal situations or things that have happened around you. And so I put out an Instagram story over the weekend, basically, for you guys to submit those, because I will be answering them on the podcast. Now, yes, it will be anonymous. I will not throw you under the bus like Bronwyn did with Meredith, but rest assured, I will absolutely give you my honest take. You guys know how I am. If you know, you know. I don't sugarcoat shit, and I know I'm not always in favor of what you guys are thinking, but I say my piece nonetheless. But if you guys are interested and you want my take on something that's happened in your life or in your circle, go ahead and email me at collaborations@georgiotakanakis.com, or you can DM me on Instagram. I check all my folders, so don't worry. I will see it. And outside of that, guys, I hope to have those previous episodes from this week that did not upload. They should be uploaded by the end of today. So hopefully you guys will be able to catch up, because I had a lot to say about Potomac as well on Monday. So yeah, you definitely want to check that out. And also, don't forget that I will be releasing a deep dive on Amanda Francis from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, either today or tomorrow. And that is a full extensive deep dive on her course business and everything that goes with it. Okay? If you're listening to this on audio, please give me a 5-star rating. It does help the podcast. I truly appreciate it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit all the buttons, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I do post my video episodes on YouTube, so you can go and watch me rant and talk shit over there. But I'm going to leave it here, you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. And until the next episode, guys, I will talk to you on the next one. Bye.